Well, welcome to our September Exploring Main Street Community Interchange. We go from 11 until 12:15. It goes by so quickly. That extra 15 minutes in the hour is magical. So please stick around. There's always good stuff that carries us all the way to the end. If you're not familiar yet with Google Meet, just see down at the bottom, you have that, you've got your menu. So you want to keep your camera on and minimize distractions. So that's that little camera. You just click on that on and off. Please stay muted unless you're speaking. So that's that little microphone in the furthest to the right in that row of icons. And then take advantage of the chat box and the raised hand feature. So you'll find those, that raised hand, the little hand in the very center of all the icons, and then off to the right is where you'll find the chat. So please use those liberally. We really want you all to connect during this and process some of this information and take it home with you and apply it as you can. And as you know, this webinar is being recorded, and I will share the link for the recording after we're done. We'll share that with everybody in the Exploring Main Street network. So for the interchange, this is obviously a virtual gathering. It's facilitated by Virginia Main Street staff, and it focuses on strengthening the program's network of leaders and boosting Main Street efficacy in communities. I'm Kyle Meyer with the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development, and I am here hosting the meeting along with fairly new co-worker and colleague, Karina DeRoche. So she's going to be facilitating at some key points during our time here together. So the way the agenda works is that we're going to do a little bit of welcome and introductions for the first 15 minutes, and then some news. And then we're going to get into today's topic. We have our special guest. We've got some time for discussion, and then just a little bit of wisdom bites at the very end, which are just a little bit of time for everybody to reflect on some relevant information that they can take back to their community and the strategies that they're employing for revitalization and downtown management. And as always, the group agreements are nice because it kind of sets the rules. We really want to create a comfortable, safe space while we're having this meeting. So really encourage you to embrace curiosity, ask questions. We don't expect for you to understand all the inner workings of Main Street or local community. And so if you're curious or have a question, that's the perfect time to use the raise hand button or throw a question in the chat. I like the raised hand piece only because it's great to hear people's voices. It seems so much more real and present. So I'd say that's priority. We're all figuring things out, not only from like post-pandemic situation, but revitalizing and managing a downtown is a bit of organized chaos. And so there's always questions that come up. So we're going to collectively share our expertise to help lift you. So we're all figuring it out. And just keep in mind, take space. If you take space, make space, meaning be mindful that when you have the podium that there are other people that may want to speak too. So just be mindful of that time and keep it brief to allow other folks to speak. And then just stay connected. I'll share the most current list of the Exploring Main Street communities, and certainly reach out to the network if you have questions from anybody that may be here that you didn't get to talk to or would like to learn more. I also encourage you to reach out to the Advancing Virginia Main Street communities. So those are the designated communities. We have a listing of all the executive directors on the DHCD Virginia Main Street program website. I'd say the easiest way to get to that is just Google Virginia Main Street and look for that DHCD link. All right, that's enough of my introductions. Now it's time for Karina to do her thing. So Karina, I'm handing it off to you.
Thank you, Kyle, and good morning, everyone. As Kyle shared, my name is Karina DeRoche, and I am the program specialist. Still new here, so bear with me. I'm going to bookend pretty much the beginning and the end of this webinar. So just to start us off, we're going to get ready for introductions. Really just state your name, where you're joining from, and then one of the the best things that have happened to you today thus far. So starting off, I'll give an example. My name is Karina DeRoche. I'm joining from Richmond. And one of the best things that have happened to me today is I've completed my 6 a.m. workout. Been trying to commit to morning workouts, and I did it. I'm going to pass the mic to Autumn. And then once you go, make sure that you pass it to someone else who has not spoken yet. Autumn, did you catch me pass the mic to you, or are you trying to speak?
She unmuted.
I was like, it says it's unmuted, but I can't hear anything. How about this? Autumn, while you're working on your microphone, I'm going to pass it over to Miss Amber.
All right, can you guys hear me okay? All right, so I'm Amber Smoot, and I am the Events and Marketing Director for the town of Newmarket, but I am joining from the town of Woodstock. So best thing that happened to me today is I got to come to Woodstock, and I got to visit Flower and Water. And I'm going to pass the mic to Kelly Greer.
You got to unmute, Kelly. No problem.
Hi, sorry, I'm used to Zoom too, so I didn't see it on my screen.
Yeah,
So
did you push the space bar? Is that the space bar on Zoom is what unmutes, you know? So anyway, go on, Greer. I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. My name is Greer, and I am from Friends of Charlottesville Downtown. I am sitting in to decide if we're going to join Virginia Main Street. I think it would be a great organization for us to be a part of. It's only 11 o'clock, so not a lot has happened to me today. I did go with one of my board members to look at some rooftops on the downtown mall in Charlottesville. I think we're going to get some great pictures for our new website, so that was fun. Thanks so much for letting me join you today. And I'm going to pass it over to Jill.
Good morning. I'm Jill Jefferson. I'm the planner with the town of Woodstock. And a good thing that happened today, without stealing the thunder from Katie's talk, is that a business across the street from where a project was just done just texted me and wants to talk about having the same project done on their side of the street for 3 business addresses. So good ideas spread.
Awesome.
Yeah. Sorry, Katie.
All right, Jill, don't forget to pass it to somebody.
Okay, sorry. I pass it to Kelly Greer. Did you speak?
She just went.
You just went. Okay, can't do
just
that.
pass it to you.
Okay, right. I pass it to Katie Mercer.
There's an easy one. Hi, I'm Katie Mercer. I'm your presenter today from Woodstock. The best thing that's happened today is Amber brought me some yummy gluten-free sandwiches for lunch. And I get to present all of, like, the fun things that we do here with Woodstock Enhancement. So that's a wonderful thing that's about to happen. So, all right, I'm going to pass it to the Hive. I'm not sure name though, but I'll pass it to the Hive.
Good morning. I was able to I had to switch computers to get my microphone to work. But my name is Autumn Bailey. I'm with the Virginia Beach Economic Development. I am, the best thing that's happened to me today is I was able to get my notes finished for a panel discussion I have in less than an hour. So I'm happy about that. Well, unfortunately, I won't be able to stay for the full training, but I am excited to hear what I speak on while I'm able to attend. And I have to pass it, sorry. Is Zachary gone yet?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Zachary Willow, Virginia Main Street Program Administrator, and I'm joining from Richmond today. Same with me. My day has been pretty mundane so far, so I'll just say I got to wake up and enjoy another day with you all. So that's good. Let's see. I can't see many people that haven't gone, so I'll probably just pick Chastity Bryant.
Should I go while we're waiting for Chastity?
Sure.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jackie Stewart. I'm here in Washington, D.C. I'm the design committee chair for downtown Colonial Beach. And the best thing that's happened to me so far today is when I got up this morning here in Washington, D.C., the sun was shining and then the clouds came in. So now the sun is returning. So I'm happy about that. Oh, I'm sorry. And I will pass, let's see. I'm trying to see the 9 others. Oh, okay. I will pass it to, is it Judy FRX?
That's right. FRX.org.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm Judy Perosi, and I do some capacity consulting work with different towns and some nonprofit organizations. And I am calling in from Virginia Beach also today. And the best thing that happened to me is that one of my new towns is able to log in and participate today. And that is Deidre. And I'm going to call on Deidre next to introduce herself.
Well, thank you, Judy. Hi, I'm Deidre McCauley Hayes, and I am on the board of the Toano Historical Society. So excited to join in today. The best thing that happened to me today is I actually got to stop by our newest business here in the historic district, which recently opened, our whole cafe, and get me one of their delicious mochas. So that's what happened for me today. Let me see who I'm going to pass the mic to. Is Chastity available now? Or if not, I can pick someone else. How about, did Jill Jefferson go yet? Or Durante?
I'm here. Cassidy's here.
Hi,
Sorry.
You can go, Chastity, with your introduction.
Oh, my name is Chastity Bryant. I am the Community Development Specialist here in Blackstone, Virginia. I work with Philip Norbeck. I have been doing the Community Development Specialist position for about a year. And so far today, the best thing that's happened to me, I woke up this morning. I think that covers me.
That does. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to a few more people who haven't gone. Durante, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, so good morning, everyone. My name is Durante Rollins. I also work here at DHCD in the Industrial Revitalization Fund program, working with localities to repurpose blighted structures. The best thing that has happened to me today was I ran into Karina and she said, come listen and learn. And I want to, learn a little bit more about Main Street and some ideas that you all are passing around. So thank you.
I'm going to call on Dominique.
Hello. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, my Wi-Fi is choppy, so I look awful right now. Okay, great. My name is Dominique DeBose. I am joining from Hampton, Virginia. I am with the Hampton Economic Development and the Partnership for a New Phoebus. And we are focusing right now on our events that is coming up right now. But the best thing that has happened to me so far today is I just got off a meeting with a potential buyer for one of our vacant buildings that has been vacant for years now. So hopefully that turns out great and that becomes a wonderful new store. Thank you.
Good to
And I
have
don't know, so pass it to someone.
Yeah, I'll have a few more people. Let's call on Allison Wood.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I apologize for coming in late. I was trying to join with the link that was in the calendar, and I hadn't checked the email because I was out in meetings. So here I am, and my colleague Stephanie will be joining as well. So I'm Allison Wood. I am with the town of Leesburg Economic Development. I am in a new position, the Small Business Development and Tourism Specialist. So part of my position was actually created for the Main Street program to talk to our business owners and to see if they want to move forward with Tier 3. So that's why I'm joining today. And from what I've gathered, we're talking about what is the best thing that's happened to us so far today. That's right. So I will say I found out that a tourism campaign that I was working on has been approved, and we are going to be moving forward with it, and it'll be an installation that's up from October through January. So I'm very excited about that. I just found out this morning. So thank you guys. It's good to be here and nice to meet you all.
I'm going to call on Nicole.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole Childress, and I work for DHCD as well. I'm a program administrator for Virginia Main Street, and I am dialing in from here in Southwest Virginia. And the best thing that has happened to me today was my gigantic early morning tomato harvest. I'm trying to get every ounce of fresh vegetables and fruits that I can from my garden before it gets cold. And I don't think Blair's went, so I'll pass it to her.
Thanks, Nicole. Blair Burglar here. I'm also a Virginia Main Street Program Administrator from DHCD. I'm tuning in from Richmond. The best thing that's happened to me today is seeing some of my coworkers' smiling faces. I've been on vacation and been out of the office, so it's good to be back and get back to work and I gotta just catch up on all my emails. I will pass it to Stephanie. I think she's just joined us.
Yes. Hi, this is Stephanie Slocum, and I was really introduced by Allison. Hi, Kyle. I've been a part of Main Street for probably about close to 20 years now. And at this point in time, I'm consulting with Allison and the town of Leesburg to see what we can do in regard to a Main Street program here. So I'm very excited to be a part of Main Street again here in Northern Virginia.
Thank you, Stephanie. It's so good to see you. So, Karina, I think we got through everyone. If there's somebody that we missed, feel free to speak up.
It looks like we got everyone.
I think we did. I think we did. All right, cool. Well, thank you, Karina. I love hearing that good news. There's so many good things happening around us, and taking a moment to reflect on that, no matter how small, it's uplifting. I'll take it. So I just want to give a few announcements before we move on. October 11th, we have the Mobilizing Main Street How to Apply webinar. So I'll tell you more about that in just a moment. We also have this really cool development ready webinar series that our real estate office is leading this time. So October 5th, 12th, and 19th, we'll be talking about small scale incremental development. We'll also be talking about marketing and promotion for attracting developers, as well as supporting small businesses that may locate to those newly rehabilitated buildings. That's probably going to end our series for the year, but 2023, there's a lot to look forward to. So our calendar in 2023 is framed around the switch to 6. All right, so some of you as exploring Main Street communities may not know, but designated communities are held to a standard, the Main Street America Community Accreditation Standards, and it's based on best practices and long-term commitment to Main Street. And so it helps them benchmark all those great things that help to make an effective Main Street community and program, a program that really gets the impacts or creates the impacts in downtown that the community is looking for. So while you're not held to that standard, I encourage you all to learn about the standards and use that as a little bit of guide as your local program develops. So next year, we're going to be bi-monthly focusing on one of each of the 6 standards. So it's gone from 10 long ones over the last 40 years, and they've condensed it down to 6 and brought them up to, included so much of what we've all learned from doing Main Street well. So there'll be more information about that soon, and lots of practical information about really having an effective, impactful Main Street program. As usual, got a bunch of resources that you should know about. VirginiaMainStreet.com. It's not only our blog, but it's also a repository of past trainings and other resources and worksheets and so forth. So you'll find all of our pre-recorded webinars there. The blogs, boy, that blog schedule is full. There's lots of great reading. You can find out about the latest local stories as well as latest great grant rounds and even national news. So, please sign up for that. There's an opportunity to register and receive posts as soon as they're posted. So just go to that landing page of VirginiaMainStreet.com, and in your bottom right-hand corner, you can see where to subscribe. The Center for Nonprofit Excellence, we are institutional members of the Center for Nonprofit Excellence. If you're not accessing this resource and their membership services, please reach out to your Virginia Main Street representative and we can talk to you about that. And then another free resource is nonprofitready.org. So this is a philanthropic pursuit of a for-profit company. You don't even know who the for-profit company is. I mean, you can look into it if you want, but all of those nonprofit ready resources on the website are all free. And it's little modules to teach you about anything nonprofit wise, starting a nonprofit, how do you report to the IRS, board trainings, which is a great addition if you want to include that as part of the checklist of an orientation for a new board member. Also want to draw to your attention that fiscal year 24, our grant cycle, can't believe we're talking about fiscal year 24, it opens January 2nd of 2023 and closes April 28th. So you got a nice 4 months in order to figure out what you guys are going to apply for and get in that application. So for exploring Main Street communities, we're raising the grant amount to $10,000. Which is really exciting. So you can do some big stuff with that. But we're really talking about any projects that are going to support your strategic plan or your economic development strategy for the district or advancing your organization. And we have some folks here that have current community vitality grants that maybe can bring that up later on at an appropriate time. So just keep that in mind. That's very exciting. All right, as you guys know, and I'm going to get into what I said I was going to talk about in a moment with the Mobilizing Main Street. As you guys know, we're a state coordinating program of Main Street America. And so we're part of this grassroots effort across the U.S. to assist small and medium-sized towns with their Main Street program deployment. Well, that's our responsibility. We've got 3 tiers of participation, so this gives you a kind of an idea. We've got 28 advancing Virginia Main Street communities. That's the designated communities. We have 70 plus exploring Main Street communities. Those are growing. And then we've got this Mobilizing Main Street program that we haven't really activated to any great extent until now. Our only graduate is Cape Charles that went through the program for 2 years when it was called Virginia Downtowns and successfully applied for designation as a advancing Virginia Main Street community. So this is what it looks like. So we've got these 3 tiers. Exploring Main Street is non-competitive. It's really an opportunity for you guys to dip your toes in and participate as much as you want to get where you want to go. You also have access to that $10,000 grant annually. On the other end of the spectrum, we have Advancing Main Street, which is competitive. There's a competitive application every 2 to 3 years. We're going on about 3 years this time. And designation, there are additional benchmarks to meet that. And you have to work towards those accreditation standards and be accredited while you're designated. So there is a higher expectation with that. But the nice thing is, if you're operating at that level, you got bigger grants, and you've got several other grants to apply for also. So the downtown investment grant is being raised to $50,000 this year, which is huge. And we also have the financial feasibility grant, which is staying at $25,000. And then we have that mobilizing Main Street, tier, which is in the very middle. And so this is for expanding program development, getting a program ready for designation. So this is those communities and programs that are really committed to really going all the way and want to apply for designation. It's also a learning laboratory, meaning our existing guidelines right now cap out at 65,000 for population. But as you know, we've got some folks here from some larger cities like Virginia Beach, Norfolk, and Hampton. And so these communities haven't been addressed. But in the Mobilizing Main Street program, this is an opportunity for those cities to participate and experiment with starting a larger city program. What we're talking about are neighborhood commercial districts within the city. So we have historic Hilton Village and Phoebus that are part of this, and Virginia Beach is exploring becoming an exploring Main Street community and taking it a little further. So what this looks like is this. So program expansion, we provide targeted organizational development support to build a community's revitalization program using the Main Street approach. And this is ideal for communities that are preparing for designation, that are reaching for that. Our timeline to the how to apply is October 11th. The application will be open and released on October 11th. So that will be open from the 11th through November 18th. It's a fairly tight timeline. We recognize that. So please reach out to your Virginia Main Street rep to talk about that if you have questions. December 16th, we will announce the cohort of communities, and we're looking at 6 to 10 communities participating in this cohort. And then orientation starts January 11th, and there's a very robust calendar of trainings. And I'll just say that the commitment really is 2 hours of synchronous training a month. There will be some assessment, there'll be some, my goodness, my words aren't coming to me, assignments, as well as services, working with consultants or so forth throughout that 2 years. So 2 hours a month of synchronous training, which means coming to the webinars and our meetings afterwards. We have a 45-minute meeting after our regular webinars, and then the alternating month, it's a 2-hour meeting with the Mobilizing Main Street cohorts. And those will go by fast. It's very engagement oriented. So some really cool stuff. I'm excited about it. All right, so we've gone on a half an hour on introductions and news. So it's really time to get to the highlight of our time together here. And I want to introduce Katie Mercer, who you've heard from already, Director of Marketing and Events, and also the Enhancement Committee lead. So they're the ones doing a lot of the Main Street work in collaboration with the town staff. So Katie, thank you so much for being here. And I am going to stop sharing. And it's
Wait, go ahead and keep sharing.
You want me to keep sharing? Okay.
Yeah, that'd probably be better.
Yeah, just tell me when you want me to advance.
Okay, sounds good. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming today. And Kyle and Karina, thank you for inviting me and allowing me to speak about my organization. It's always good to talk about the fun things you have going on. And I'm excited to share with what we have, who we are, and then any questions you have for me at all. If you want to ask here or offline, I'm an open book. So we are Woodstock Enhancement Committee. We started about 22 years ago in the year 2000. I was still in high school, but my predecessor, Jane, had approached our town and our town manager and said, Walmart is coming to Woodstock and we're afraid this will kill our downtown. And what do we do? So we are kind of an anomaly affiliate kind of exploring program, just like I assume most of you all are here. But our funding or our budget, all of it we come straight from the town of Woodstock. So I'm actually a town of Woodstock employee. I don't think there are many of us like that, are there, Kyle? I think Winchester is.
Well, and you've got Newmarket. So there are
True, yeah.
a number of exploring Main Street communities where the program is mostly housed within the municipality. But yeah, as far as designated communities goes, the only program that's housed within the municipality is Winchester, but they've actually moved to their Economic Development Authority. So an independent organization, or quasi-independent.
Okay. So yeah, my sister towns in Shenandoah County here, Strasburg and Newmarket, who is Amber, they're very similar to me. So Woodstock Enhancement, you can go ahead and move to the next slide, Kyle. So we focus on, much like you all, your mission and visions, we focus on creating a vital and vibrant community that fosters local pride, encourages tourism, and strengthens the economic base. Our volunteers also believe in continually making Woodstock a beautiful, fun, and unforgettable destination where people want to live, run a business, and visit. So I guess you can go on there, Kyle. So kind of want to tell you what's going on today with us. Set you up. We're going to talk about volunteer recruitment and then some enhancement projects or kind of your public spaces projects, partnerships and incentives that we have, partnerships, of course, with the public, and then some incentives we have for our small businesses or our building owners, our public art program and our installations, and then lastly, kind of close it up with our small business support and promotions that we have. All right, you want to go on, Kyle. So I don't know, Kyle kind of said maybe don't raise your hand, but I think it goes without saying that as Main Street organizations, it's hard to find volunteers sometimes. That's possibly one of our biggest challenges. And I wanted to do for the first time this year, and even in a 22-year program, you know, it ebbs and flows and things. And COVID, of course, kind of really put a wrench into that. So this May, you can actually go on there, Kyle. We hosted a volunteer recruitment and appreciation event, and it was at our local brew house here in Woodstock. And it was, like I said, it was an opportunity one evening to thank our current volunteers and then just like help people learn about us, more about us, who, you know, okay, you know that we have this event downtown. Oh, you see our beautiful like hanging baskets, our public art, things like that. Like, don't you want to be a part of that? Learn how. And so through the years before we did this, it was hard. People would come and be like, well, I don't really know if I don't have a lot of time. You know, I don't know where I would fit. So we kind of, my board and I and others on the enhancement committee, we kind of sat down and thought, well, how do we make this palatable? How do we like kind of make it easier for people to understand how they can get involved? So if you want to go ahead and go on to the next slide. We realized we needed to be flexible. So we created these kind of volunteer roles, and we broke it into 6. And these follow, you know, so we have our board, right? Just like a Main Street program, we have the design committee, we have the promotions committee, which we've now just called events committee, and then we have the economic vitality committee. So kind of broke that down a little bit further, and we said, well, here's like, where do you fit? And then we'll tell you maybe where you can fit. It was a little bit easier that way. So we have 6 roles, like I said here, and we talked to them about being respectful of their time. but ask like how can we tap into your passions and your skills so that you can help us be even better at what we do. And we'll work with where you'd fit in and kind of schedule it. We asked people if we could schedule a time to talk with them over coffee or lunch or just have a little meeting, to find one of our board members or talk to me afterwards. So at that event, we had about 30 people show up, which was good for us. We're a town of a little over 5,000. We're a small town as well. And so we were excited, and actually what's come out of that, I probably have added thus far, probably about 5 to 10 like who have jumped like out of the gate, excited and participating. And then I have others who they've just had like a busy summer and they're like, I'm going to get with you. So, and you'll see on here, I'll point out, you'll see the event tier. That's someone who only wants to help during events. And we were seeing that people were like, that was kind of a common theme. They either wanted to help with the planning of it or just being at the event. So I would be happy to share my graphics and things with you all afterwards. If you think this was something, I guess also you'll see here, we kind of did a level, like a commitment level, so people could kind of understand how it might fit in with their time. So, all right. Moving on to our enhancement projects. We're going to go pretty far back actually to kind of where we started, but the Court Square renovation occurred in 2008. I wasn't here yet. I've been here for 8 years in November, but that was my predecessor, Jane. And we have the oldest historic courthouse west of the Blue Ridge in continuous use. And it's also our Shenandoah County Historical Society office. So there's a museum there and things, but this at the top left there on your screen, you'll see that place, this area downtown, our Court Square, got a complete renovation in 2008. And that was all spearheaded by Woodstock Enhancement / the town of Woodstock and employees. Also, before I came on, we had an electric message board installed and put up, and that was a partnership. The hospital, Shenandoah Memorial Hospital, they're actually through that intersection in that picture there up the hill. They did some partial funding with us, and it was a partnership with that. And it's just a way to, of course, get messages out about community events. And sometimes any like road closures, or if we have anything going on in the town, like in a couple weeks, we have like a fall cleanup week that Public Works does. So anything like that. And then of course, anything that the hospital wants to put up on there, like during COVID, it was vaccine clinics and things like that. Also, if a business wants to put a message up, it's, for a grand opening or ribbon cutting or like an anniversary, something like that. In 2015, kind of when I first started, we partnered with the Woodstock Rotary Club, and they donated money to help fund our four-face town clock that's actually right across the street from the historic courthouse there in the first picture. So that was a project for enhancement downtown. And then wayfinding and welcome signs. In 2008, the Enhancement Committee installed the first version of our welcome signs and our wayfinding signs. And you'll see that one on the left. That's the round circular, same thing. the green sign. And then on the right is our new sign. So we went through a rebranding effort also in 2017, because our original brand was with the Swiss Guard figure that's historical. You can't really see him in there, that picture, but he's around town a lot, and used this scripty font and greens. And we wanted to refresh that, of course, because it had been, the program started in 2000, and it was time to do a rebranding across the board. So we hired, I'm trying to think of his name, Arnett Muldrow, and Ben and Aaron helped us through that process. Some of you may have heard of them. They did a great job and came up with a kind of new branding and colors and logos and all those brand guidelines. So then it was time to redo our signage. We did get at that time what was the affiliates grant, I believe, Kyle, that's what it's called. And it's now the one I think you spoke of before. So then it was $7,000. Yes. And then I guess that's now the $10,000 grant. And Virginia Main Street gave us money towards, let's see, Fraser Associates in downtown Stanton helped us with that program because it is hard. And Amber can tell you too, she's going through it as well. I don't know if anyone else has done it, but it was great to have Sandy from Fraser help us through that and do the drawings and everything. And she just knows the manual from VDOT like very well. And so worked with VDOT, of course, worked with Fraser, and then our sign fabricator, and then Public Works. Even our crew installed all of the signs actually. So those are some enhancement projects that we have done. You can move on, please, Kyle. As far as some partnerships that we had, so on the left here is the historic Woodstock Schoolhouse, and it's just up the street from our office here. And then on the right, that's actually a historic photo of an old bank building that's closer to us, just down the hill. And Ed Gaskins from Echelon Resources approached us a couple years ago and said, I'm interested in this. And we actually had purchased the building from Shenandoah County, the town of Woodstock had, and we were going to renovate it to have a new office building. But once Ed kind of came on, we actually kind of had that in queue to do that. So we were happy actually when he came and said, I want to take this off your hands and do just a whole new redevelopment and revitalization of this project. And it put the property back on tax rolls. It gave a new life and purpose to these two historic buildings. Fulfilled a need for professional grade housing. These are kind of your upscale luxury apartments. They also utilized historic tax credits. I think they're pretty much experts in that field. It was an effective public-private partnership that we had, and just kind of another two other entries into the ongoing Woodstock success story. So that was a great partnership with them. I'll say that the school building, the school, the one on the left, that has 12 apartments currently, and I believe they're all rented. And then the one on the right, the old bank building, has 5 apartments on the second and third floors, and then it's a mixed use. So there's 1 apartment on the bottom floor, and then there are 2 commercial spaces downstairs. So that's a great partnership that we had a couple years ago and finished that up. You can move on, please. And then facade improvement grants. Oh, I'm sorry, my fonts did not transfer over to you, Kyle. I should have made these PDFs, but I had prettier fonts. You all, I know we talk about a lot in Main Street of, I went to the National Main Street conference this year. I've been to the downtown intersections every year. We've had them, and lots of people, lots of communities are doing facade improvement grants, and we started ours in 2014 and are still doing it. This program has, we've approved 20 projects to date in our downtown area, and we've of course evolved. It seems like every year for these past 8 years, we have added something or changed something in our guidelines, just because it's, we're learning as we go. So I've also, asked other Main Street programs of how they do it as well. So if y'all have any questions, but we started at, I think, only $2,000 a project, and that was fine then. But we saw like we weren't getting very much interest because it wasn't a whole lot of money and a very, big incentive for people to try to like do these projects and these rehabs and upgrades. So then we increased it to 5,000 and then now 10,000. But we're lucky that our town council believes in this program as well. And so for the past several years, they've earmarked and given money out of our general fund to actually our Woodstock EDA, and the money is passed through there. It's their money. I think we realized we had to do it that way, just working as a town, I guess. If you all are nonprofits in your own downtown organizations, it might be different. But currently we have over $70,000 available for this grant program. So like I said, we've 20 projects approved to date. I have another one coming across my desk that soon that I'm working on with a property owner, and then potentially another. So they catch on, and we've allocated over $120,000. We've dispersed it for buildings with eligible costs. It has to be a commercial building, not fully commercial. It could be mixed use, but it needs to be for projects such as awnings, doors, windows, siding, roofing, painting. If you're going to paint the building, usually the stipulation is it has to kind of be a new color. It hasn't always been that way because the EDA does have the discretion with that. But let's see what else. Porches, I believe, hardscaping. So any like pavers or anything like that. And perennial landscaping, not annuals because they die. We learned that one year. It was like we approved some annual landscaping. We're like, oh, well, I don't think we should do it that way. But yeah, so that's our facade improvement program that we partner with building owners on, and it's gaining speed each year. So, and our last, well, it's just not quite our last partnership, but this is a program I wanted to share with you guys that actually Jill, our planner, if she's still on the line, Jill and I work very closely together. And this is something that we do for our building, our parcel owners in town. It also helps us improve our sidewalks. So you'll see here on the left, this was actually this week on Monday morning. This was Flour and Water, our local bakery. They had agreed to do this program, and this was what the sidewalk looked like before. And yesterday afternoon on the right is what our public works crew ended up with. So we've had 10 projects with 3 in the queue. So we're looking at 13. Like I said, it's a partnership with these building owners, and our planner Jill and a public works crew, Jill and Public Works will go and they'll do the measurements of the sidewalks in front of the buildings, and then get sorry, my phone is ringing. They will then get estimates for the building owners, and the owner then agrees to pay for materials, and Public Works in kinds all of the labor. So that's an incentive for them. It spruces up the front of their building. It helps us take care of any pedestrian hazards or old cracking sidewalks and things. So this is a project that's really catching. And that was actually what Jill referenced earlier, that, a gentleman across the street from Flour and Water here texted her this morning and says, I want to do it. So it's kind of like monkey see, monkey do. And it's the same actually with facade. With our Facade Renew grant. So really cool program. I know that we do have the luxury to have that staff since it's since we have Public Works, but just an idea. Maybe if you all who are like the Main Street organizations have a really good relationship with your town or your city, and you think that they would want to do something like that with you, myself or Jill would be happy to talk to you about it. So. Right, Kyle. And our last kind of partnership I wanted to talk about is more of an event partnership. And this is a cool idea I wanted to share with you all if you wanted to do something similar. So this April, we partnered for our second event with Rev3 Endurance. They do adventure races. So they're not triathlons, they're not duathlons, but I won't get into all of that, exactly what they are. They're kind of trekking, hiking, biking, paddling. And they did an adventure race that started at our state park, just over the river. And then it went over into Luray and Page County, and then kind of came back. But our idea as the enhancement community, we were like, what do we do? How can we... These people were coming from all over the country, okay? And how do we attract people to downtown and make it a little bit more fun? And what about the people who aren't these crazy and adventure racers? What are they going to do? So we did the Frozen Foot Challenge, and it was a 5K around our businesses in town. So the enhancement committee, we kind of hand chose and, kind of gave the ideas to businesses if we had them. And so like, they had challenges, whether it was brain or physical or just kind of like a game through town at our businesses, and they were stops. So our brew house, Woodstock Brew House, had water pong outside, and you had to, make all the cups before you advanced to the next stop. And it was a flour sack race in front of our old jail down and back. Then the other was an Etch-a-Sketch challenge at our local art gallery. Let's see, one of our awesome Mexican restaurants, we did a tortilla toss. You had to stand far enough back. You had to toss some tortillas into buckets. There was a frozen foot, so people had to go up to our fairgrounds, and these ladies on the bikes with their winter coats on. It was April, but it's chilly still, right? They had to take their shoes off if they wanted and walk through ice cold water troughs before they could keep going. So there were you didn't have to do it all. It was really fun. As you see, it kind of appeased anyone from the older to the young. You'll see kids there, they push strollers. It was really fun, and it just had some exposure for our businesses, and we had locals doing it, and we had those who were from out of town, and it was a really cool idea. And like I said, it kind of it did get people downtown and understanding and discovering what we have, and hopefully some money spent. So that was a cool kind of event partnership we had this past April. All right, and now I want to talk about our art program, Woodstock Art Stock. This started with me in 2015 when we installed our first sculpture, large-scale sculpture. You'll see him, actually, he's pretty small on the bottom there. There's a Peanuts. You see the Peanuts characters. Public Works made those and cut them out and painted them. But this is Pac-Man, and he's a rock hiker. So that was our first installment. Then we did traffic signal box wraps that you'll see the two on the top right. I had attended a public art kind of real small meeting in Hampton Roads or Virginia Beach when I first started, because I knew like we wanted to grow a program, and I was a tiny fish, tiny fish, and with these big places like some of you all are there. And I just sat there and listened. And I think it was Alexandria who had done these. They owned these cabinets, these traffic signal box cabinets. So this was all new for VDOT, because VDOT owns and controls ours in town. So went through the process, showed, how across the country, VDOT's concern was, if we wrap it, it's going to overheat the equipment. And, so had to convince VDOT that this was okay, and got the yes from them in Richmond. And here we are. We have 5 final wrapped traffic signal boxes, and we put a call to artists out for that. Local, pretty much local, actually. We have anything from the Eleanor Roosevelt here it has a quote on the back. Actually, we had some stipulations. It had to have a quote with it that was inspiring or funny or something with the art. So it's a really fun program. We're hoping to expand it. That's just down our main street, hoping to expand it up our other 5 stoplights. I think we only have 10 in town. We're very small, but hopefully hoping to do that soon as well. And then we, of course, did a love work. You'll see there, and that's on the property we have a military academy here downtown. And the Swiss Guard is actually, I referenced him earlier. He's the blue guy kind of holding a staff. And then hot air ballooning is big in the valley. So we have a mini, although it's 7 feet, replica of a hot air balloon. And the V is vine and trees and things, because we have a tree board program. And the goal is to increase increased tree canopy in Woodstock by like 30% tree canopy. And then we have a watchtower actually that's, I don't know if any of you have ever been to Woodstock or anything, but it's a very popular destination and tourist attraction on top of the mountain. It looks down over the bends of the Shenandoah River, and our public works guys made that as well. And it actually has the same number of stairs and steps. So they've got pretty detailed with that. So that's our love work. And then currently we are doing we're helping to fund it and promote it. But the ladies at VECA, Valley Educational Center for the Creative Arts in Woodstock at Shenandoah County, they're doing a 3-panel mosaic mural that we've installed one of them. And that's the one you see in the picture here with all the ladies posing. And then it's kind of set up on some legs. One, almost done with the second one, and then the third, and it's a mosaic mural of our state park and the mountains and the river, and we've got some hang gliders and tubers and kayakers, and our state park has a love sign that's on there as well. So it's super cool. It's a great partnership with them. And yeah, so that's our public art program. I feel like I'm talking a whole lot. I probably should go a little bit faster.
Yeah, we have, I mean, it's noon and we go to 12:15. So
Okay.
yeah.
And coming up soon, I'll talk about this really quick. We do pumpkin characters around town. So it's a temporary public art installation. This is our 6th year. We get businesses to do it with us. We get residents, and then of course the town enhancement started it, and so we'll put them in like key locations around town and have these characters, and it has just caught on like wildfire. It is so fun. The public loves it. We have people who say, I come through Woodstock, however, and I see this, or like there's sometimes a lot of people will be like, I travel through several times a year, and I make sure I stop in the fall to see these characters. They're quirky, sometimes they're creepy, but they're so much fun, and it's a real way to like get some like camaraderie and like kind of, you know, pride in your community, and especially when you see so many residents and businesses doing it. We make it a contest for them, but it's definitely caught on. So a really fun public art installation, temporary. So, all right. Lastly, I'll talk briefly about how we do small business support, especially like with the Economic Vitality Committee. We'll do you'll see this Shop Small sweepstakes and a Valentine's Day gift guide. These are just to kind of remind people to shop local. If during the holidays they shop local, if they spend $25, they could enter to win a gift basket. And a lot of times those baskets are valued at over $800 because the participating businesses donate an item. So it's just almost like a thank you. I don't think that it gets people to spend money in there, but it's like, okay, well, you might win. So like I said, we do a Valentine's Day gift guide to remind people where they can go and get their sweetheart some gifts. Also do a Mother's Day as well. The month of March is National Women's History Month. And so 3 years ago, we started celebrating the women of Woodstock who are making history. And we might need to expand it, but it is currently just female business owners. And we have over 85 female business owners in our town, in our small town. And so each March, we have celebrated them in some sort of a way. It's been a social media campaign, essentially, but they love it. And we get a lot of comments and hits and praise and kudos to these ladies. And it's just kind of a cool way to celebrate the women making history in Woodstock. We also have done in the past a business is buzzing, and each week for a while I featured a business in town. Right here you'll see Edward Jones Investments, but any sort of business from the service industry to hospitality to retail to restaurant, just kind of getting them out on social media and telling their story a little bit more. So that's we're trying to come up with our next rendition of what that looks like, because it was out for about 1.5 years and it needed a refresh. So we're working on that. And then lastly, we partner with our sister towns. You'll see Amber and I in that picture, our Chamber of Commerce, our county Economic Development and Tourism Director, Jenna French, and then Strasburg, Olivia up there. And we partner for a program called Rev Up Shinco. I think I had told you, Kyle, it's very similar to like the Gauntlet, I feel like, program and other programs that we've learned about. So it's a business boot camp, and then there's a grant at the end if you win. So we've been doing that for about 5 years, I believe. Had to take a break in COVID, but we're this is our third week this week, so it's an 8-week program. You know, Wednesday evenings they come to these professional speakers, and then they'll do a pitch night. We actually partnered with Shenandoah Shenandoah Community Capital Fund, SCCF. Yeah. They've changed their name some, in Stanton, and they're actually facilitating the program, Ryan Hall from that, which has been a great partnership with them. So, and I feel like I've gone over my talk, but if you all have any questions, email me. And if you want to chat too on the phone, I'll put that in the chat box, what my direct line is. But I would love to share any information that you all want to get from me. So thank you very much.
Yeah, Katie, you know, everything you talked about today is awesome. You all are busy and you're doing some great stuff that is really changing and transforming downtown. So
thank you.
Thanks for doing that. Great stories to share. You know, we can keep this a little bit more open. We got 10 more minutes left, and I want to honor your time, but I also want you all to be able to connect and ask questions. So we can do this 2 ways. Let's keep it flexible. You just have a general question for Katie, let's do it. If you want to share a high point experience, this is a great way to just think appreciatively about some great experiences that you've had in your community. What has been a high point experience in your community, creating a supportive environment for your small business owners and rising entrepreneurs? Katie had some interest in what everybody else is doing in that realm, but I don't want to keep you quiet. So I say, let's use this time openly. So is there anybody who wants to go first? Who's sitting on the edge of their seat, ready to talk? I see people don't even have cameras on. Amber, Dominique, Stephanie, since you're in the heat of getting a program started, it's real easy. You got a question to talk about a high point experience with your program, or a question for Katie. Chastity turned her camera on. We see you.
Okay. I'm just gonna go.
Yeah. Thank you, Amber.
So one, it's crazy because I talk to Katie almost weekly and I work with her a lot, and it's funny the things that you don't know other people are doing. And I bank off her a lot. I call her for advice and information like wayfinding. So thank you. I will say what I got out of this, and I'm really excited, is I'm definitely stealing your volunteering information, because that's kind of where most of us, we all for years have had this issue, but I think it was such a wonderful way to really kind of like grind down to like the nitty gritty and allow people to understand that you aren't there to make a volunteer where it should be, you know, it's volunteering, not obligation.
Yeah.
And you're respecting their time. So I think that was fantastic. So guess what? We will be meeting about that.
That's good, Amber, and you're right. You know, look, we know it's hard to attract volunteers, and putting the time into designing a volunteer attraction and management program can be a challenge. I think that Katie and Woodstock came up with a great solution, and it really honors the fact that people have limited time. They are more willing to contribute to volunteer for a project that has a clear beginning and end. And so, man, I think you found a really nice sweet spot for not only marketing these volunteer opportunities, but making it attractive. So good job on that.
Thank you. It was a board effort though too. We hemmed and hawed for a while about it. Finally got it nailed down, I think. Thank you.
Yeah. What else? Deidre, how are things going in Toano? I know you guys are working hard with Judy right now on some community listening campaigns. Is there a high point experience from, the last year you'd like to share?
Well, Kyle, actually, I've just been listening so intently, and I want to have a conversation with her. I'm going to give her a call. Thank you so much for this presentation. It's really just been eye-opening. The amount of support that you all are receiving from town council, and then the partnerships was really key for me. I really want to have a discussion with her about just getting these business owners on board with, what you guys are doing. And people tend to be, I don't know, I guess they think it's going to require too much work of them, and so they're really hesitant to get on board with the great ideas that we have planned for revitalizing, Main Street Toano. So just taking notes. I want to talk to you about those partnerships and just how we can better engage some of our community business leaders. We do have something that's really, really taken off, and that's our Toano Open Air Market that we have every Saturday. It's a lot of, small business owners and creatives coming together, sharing their, and farmers sharing their fresh produce and their cookies and, baked goods, and, they bring their animals out for the kids to, the chickens and everything, and the clothes and, toys and so forth. And so the community knows we're here. People come from Williamsburg to visit Toano. The parking lot's full, the street's full, so there's a buzz around town about good things are going on. And then they see our new cafe that just launched, which really I think is going to be the start of a rebirth here in Toano. So you will be hearing from me very soon because I have a lot of questions.
That's awesome, Deidre. I love to hear these success stories. And, these markets, these open air markets or farmers markets or street markets, whatever you want to call them, that's a great breeding ground for new businesses. I mean, giving them an opportunity to tinker with their business and their products and selling it. And that's a very common activity for Main Street organizations to take on or partner with.
Very helpful. Judy is very helpful. We're talking about doing one like you all did, one of the love projects. So that's something that we're going to be looking at here soon as well.
Good. Awesome. Well, think about that market, everyone, as part of your entrepreneurial ecosystem. If you want to engage your businesses, it really comes down to providing some level of value. What is your value proposition for them? And so, do you provide a space for them to get their business started? Do you provide the resources for it? Farmers markets are a great way to do that, and hopefully they grow out of the market and into a vacant or available storefront. That's good. Well, we've got a couple more minutes. Anybody want to add on? Please feel free. Allison?
Sure. So thank you, Katie, for this presentation. It was really eye-opening, especially for me, just kind of getting introduced into the Main Street program. Interestingly, I really loved the adventure race that you were describing. That, for me personally, is totally up my alley and sounds really fun. And actually, Stephanie and I are just, like I mentioned, we're just now talking to business owners. And we were talking to someone this morning who was mentioning that she's had trouble getting foot traffic to her store January through April. And I know you mentioned that the race was in April and it was still chilly outside. And is there anything else that you guys have done, maybe more in like the winter time or early spring, to get people downtown? Because, for a lot of us, it is easy in the summer, in the fall, when everything is perfect and people want to be out and about.
So I also have business owners that are asking me about that. Here we go. They said it's dead after Christmas, so what do we do? I do think that, yes, the fact that was in April, and when it starts getting a little bit warmer, of course, that's always great, right? But our economic vitality committee came up with, I'm trying to find some ideas for things. Who all did any of you go to the National Main Street program?
The conference?
The conference. I know you
Yeah.
did.
You know I did. And all
Yeah.
the staff that's here, yeah.
Yeah. There was one gentleman from out west who had like it was like a, what did he call it? I had ripped off his idea that I think we're gonna try to do, and it was like he highlighted businesses after, well, I was thinking we could do it after the holidays, you know, in the slower months, and you had like open house. Gosh, let me find it, and then I can email it to you, Kyle. Maybe if you can email it back
I
out to
will,
me.
yeah. So I'll probably share after I get this recording posted, share it out to the entire Exploring Main
Wait, I
Street
have
Network. Oh, you
I
do?
have it.
Cool.
Spotlight White Pine. Did you
Can you
guys?
get that into the notes,
Yeah.
Karina?
The Spotlight White Pine campaign from whitepinemainstreet.com.
Okay.
So that is something that I was thinking that we would kind of, you know, rip off of him to do maybe in the slower months.
R&D,
Yeah,
do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of have the same though problems. You know, those slower months are hard for the restaurants and retailers. So
They are. You know, related to that, I found a really good resource for creating a year-round economy, which recognizes, you know, the dips after the holidays and those winter months. I'll get that information and include it here when I share it. So I'll put it into the slide, into the discussion piece here with any of the hyperlinks from it. So that's great. Well, see, this is what happens. You know, you get some really good information, everybody enjoys sharing, and then all of a sudden 12:15 rolls around. So so I want to thank everybody for being here today. We're done with the interchanges for 2022, but we have a slate of them coming up in the new year. But that doesn't mean that you don't have contacts with the Virginia Main Street Network. Please reach out to your regional representative of Virginia Main Street. They can help you make some contacts, learn a little bit more, share some resources with you. So when I share this information, I'll share that map. So if you're not aware of who your representative is, I'll make sure that you have that, because we've had some staff changes. As a matter of fact, in mid-October, we have a new staff member coming on board, and it'll shift yet again. But it's exciting having the team expand like that. So, but in the slide deck, these are all hyperlinked contacts for the Virginia Main Street team. And then there was even some talk about some of the other programs that are within our Economic Development and Community Vitality Division, like Community Business Launch was mentioned. That's like much like the gauntlet that Katie was talking about. The Industrial Revitalization Fund for rehabilitating underutilized commercial buildings. So there's a lot of awesome incentives to help you guys out with what you're doing and bringing you know, robust commerce to your community. So I'm going to end there. It took 2 minutes away from you. So thank you so much for being here, Katie. Thank you for speaking and sharing all those awesome success stories. There's always so much to learn from you guys, and I look forward to seeing everybody out and about. Please stay in touch.
thank you all.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.